A single ordinary ice cube. I auctioned it off for 100 million. The rich bastards went wild, bidding against each other like their lives depended on it. One of them even tried to buy a sausage as a bride price. The girls were practically throwing themselves at me, offering everything they had. But I didn't give a damn about any of them. Why? Because in 1 month the apocalypse hits. Global temperatures skyrocket. Everything I'm hoarding right now, it becomes priceless. Most people will either starve to death or get cooked alive by the sun. Soon enough, even a block of ice will be a national treasure. But me, I've got enough food and ice stashed away to last centuries. Knock knock. I looked through the peephole. It was Liu Ruyan, the campus goddess, back from wherever she'd been. But then I saw him, a bleached blonde punk named Kai Kun right behind her. They didn't say a word, just walked in and stabbed me twice. Then they cleaned out my entire stockpile, laughed in my face, called me a brainless fool. And to add insult to injury, they started practicing some sword technique right in front of me. Like I wasn't even there. I died in that room, drowning in regret and rage. But then I woke up. I'd been reborn. 1 month before the end of the world. I knew exactly what I had to do. No way was I repeating my last life's mistakes. If I did, I wouldn't survive the apocalypse this time either. So when some thigh-high wearing beauty tried to throw herself at me, I shoved her away. Back off. I'm busy reading manhwa. You want to know what matters most when the world ends? Supplies. In my past life, I wasted all my time scrambling for resources. This time, I'm preparing in advance. I showed up at the supermarket where I worked part-time, threw on my uniform. The boss immediately started yelling about how I was a split second late and docked half a year's pay. I didn't give a shit. You do you, I'll do me. Less guilt this way. In the last timeline, the boss had skipped town before the apocalypse even hit, and I lost a whole year's salary. Consider this my compensation for emotional damages. I waved my hand. In an instant, every single item in the warehouse vanished into my... I could create a spatial pocket, 100 million cubic meters of empty space, and teleport anything I wanted into it with a thought. Made $0 shopping pretty damn convenient. I'd already drained 2 freshwater lakes dry, stripped several cities that were doomed to burn in the apocalypse. When the world ends, a single pack of instant noodles becomes a 5-star meal. In my pocket dimension, time doesn't pass in there. Food stays fresh forever. I looked at my stockpile and finally let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. No more eating dirt like last time. I waited in the empty warehouse for the boss to show up. When he walked in and saw the bare shelves, his jaw hit the floor. Priceless. I just smiled, activated spatial leap, and blinked out of there like a ghost. His ability never gets old. Chapter No Mercy. Skill, Dimension Shift. Allows instant teleportation within a 3-meter radius. I smirked. With this ability, collecting supplies was a joke. Hell, even if a mutated beast came at me, I could just blink away and live to fight another day. After finishing my little zero-cost shopping spree, I was ready to head home. But then my phone buzzed like an angry hornet. I glanced at the screen. Jiang Xiao, you think you can just disappear on me? And you listed our house with an agent. You pathetic, self-absorbed loser. Do you really think any woman would still want you after selling that house? Where's your sense of responsibility as a man? She was just getting started. You need to understand. I don't want the house. I just want to see your attitude. If you don't gift it to me, how am I supposed to feel secure? You have to know wanting your house doesn't mean I don't love you. Liu Ruyan was about to pile on, but I cut her off with an ice-cold question. You done? Toad on the foot doesn't bite, but it sure as hell disgusts you. I hung up without waiting for an answer. That woman, I hated her guts. In my past life, we survived the apocalypse together for a long damn time. I was the one who scrounged for supplies, kept her fed, and what did I get? In return, zero gratitude. She threw me under the bus for Li Zongheng, and then she and that yellow-haired bastard Kai Kun stabbed me in the back, literally, while I was still breathing. Yeah, I was the biggest sucker in my last life. I gave my trust in my back to a grade-A snake. Just thinking about it made my teeth grind. But this time, no way. I wasn't going to let them die easy. They were going to taste my pain. 100 times, 1,000 times. I forced myself to calm down. The supplies I'd grabbed were still nowhere near enough for the long haul. I'd have to buy the rest. I called the real estate agent. That apartment I listed? Sell it at half price. But I need cash, and I need it now. Soon enough, I was in a taxi heading to the agency. The moment I stepped out, I ran into the 2 people I hated most, Liu Ruyan and her yellow-haired mutt. Su Chen, do you have any idea how long I've been waiting for you? Good dogs don't block the road. If you're blocking it, you're not a good dog. But the yellow-haired punk wasn't about to let it slide. Who said you could sell the house? That's our house. Sell it, and I swear you won't see tomorrow's sun. I didn't waste words. My hand shot out, grabbed his throat, and slammed him into the ground like a rag doll. Looking for a cigarette butt on the ground? Nah, you're just looking for a beating. You think I need your permission to do anything? Seeing her boy toy get wrecked, Liu Ruyan grabbed my shirt and started screaming. Murder! He's killing someone. I backhanded her so hard she spun twice. I've got a short temper, woman. Open your mouth again, and I'll treat you the same way. She flew back, hand pressed to her cheek, staring at me with wide, terrified eyes. The look in my eyes right now made her feel like she was staring at a stranger. I glanced down at the yellow-haired punk gasping for air on the ground and let out a cold laugh. Don't worry. I won't let you die too fast. The moment I loosened my grip, he scrambled backward like he'd just seen a demon. Right then, Liu Ruyan snapped out of it and started spewing nonsense again. Su Chen, kneel down and apologize before I get really mad. Otherwise, you can forget about ever marrying me. Hearing that, I was eerily calm. Thanks for the concern. But if I hear you bark like that again, you'll never speak another word in your life. Both of them flinched. Then they turned and bolted without looking back. You just wait. I'll be back. I just sneered, said see ya, and walked into the agency. That's when manager Liu, that sly old fox, put on his most polite tone. How about I buy your house outright? You know it's worth over $1 million, right? This idiot was selling it for only $700K. He could flip it and pocket a few $100,000 easy. Did I know what he was up to? Of course, but I didn't care. No problem, I said. As long as you pay me in full today, I'm good with anything. Eager to close the deal fast, manager Liu had the contract ready before I even finished speaking. Just sign here, and I'll transfer the money immediately. Once the paperwork was done, $700K hit my bank account. But for the massive stockpile I'd need for the apocalypse, that was just a drop in the bucket. Getting enough supplies together was going to be tough. Then it hit me. There was one quick way to get my hands on more cash. Soon enough, I was standing in front of Kai Kun Loan Company. Turns out the loan shark was an old acquaintance. Ida Hai, the yellow-haired punk's older brother. He tried to lowball me right off the bat. This house of yours, worth $500K tops. But leave the deed with me for now. I made it crystal clear. Add another $100K, and I want it now. Give me a week. Once I double my money, I'll pay you back. Kai Dahai instantly knew what was up. This kid was a gambler. Once you get hooked on that stuff, you'd sell your own parents. And he wanted to double his money. Huh, I'm gonna bleed you dry today. Soon enough, another $600K landed in my account. Scene change. I was now at Green City Grand Hotel. Sure, I'd cleared out plenty of warehouse supplies earlier, but there was no hot, fresh food in there. Plus, in my past life, this hotel had weathered every disaster and made it through to the end. With the apocalypse about to hit, making this my long-term base wasn't a bad idea. A woman who introduced herself as the manager walked up to me. I'm Liu Xinrui. I raised my hand and ordered 1,000 tables. The banquet, Liu Xinrui's jaw practically hit the floor. She nodded frantically, her eyes wide as dinner plates. Now she was treating me like some hidden rich now. We have tables at 5,000 a pop. I hadn't expected Green City Hotel's standards to be this high. So I settled on the 10,000 tier. I'll put down a 500,000 deposit. Settle the balance in a week. Liu Xinrui agreed immediately. Hell, the ingredients alone would cost 500,000. But getting in good with someone like me, worth every penny. Just then she blurted out, "Are you getting married?" "Yeah, wedding banquet. While you're at it, book me a presidential suite too." I walked out satisfied a while later. Life was good. A 10 million yuan feast, locked in with just a 500K deposit. As for the balance, after the apocalypse, a single ice cube would be worth hundreds of millions. Not long after I left, Liu Ruyan and Kai Kun crept up to the manager. "Excuse me, what was that guy doing here?" When they found out I'd ordered a 10 million yuan banquet, their jaws hit the floor. No way. Where'd he get that kind of money? It wasn't until Liu Xinrui showed them the payment receipt that they finally accepted it. This guy was the real deal. A genuine Richard. Liu Ruyan's heart practically exploded with joy. Jackpot. Jackpot. I'm going to be a rich wife. She'd never dreamed of a life like this. And now, it was about to happen through Su Chen, that simp she'd been stringing along. While Liu Ruyan was busy daydreaming, I was busy crunching numbers. After that spending spree, I still had 800K left. But during my earlier zero-yen shopping run, I'd missed a ton of essentials. Even with just deposits, money was running tight. Then it hit me. The apocalypse was coming. If I didn't milk some platforms for everything they were worth, I'd be an idiot. So for the next 2.5 hours, I went ham. Verification after verification. Real name authentication after real name authentication. I dare to take. Hard work pays off. I finally scraped together 970K in cold hard cash. With funds secured, I started hunting down essentials. Fireplaces, ice machines, ice cubes, all the stuff supermarkets didn't stock. I bought it all online. See, the apocalypse wasn't just about heat. A deep freeze was coming too. Whether I survived or not depended entirely on how much of these two things I stockpiled. Next, I used that 500K deposit to order 2,000 tons of anthracite coal online. Then I contacted an ice factory to order ice cubes, but this time I needed to negotiate face-to-face. As I headed downstairs, who did I run into? That clingy ghost Liu Ruyan. And her bestie. The same bitch who'd been trash-talking me behind my back in my past life. The one who'd been whispering poison in Liu Ruyan's ear. Trying to steal everything I had. The house. The moment I laid eyes on those two troublemakers, all my good mood evaporated. But then Liu Ruyan blushed and grabbed hold of me. Now that she knew I was some filthy rich tycoon, she was dead set on latching onto her golden ticket, me. Even after putting on this whole act of swallowing her pride and humbling herself, I still didn't give a damn about her. Liu Ruyan and her bestie thought I was just testing her, so they flagged down a taxi and tailed me. I headed straight to the ice factory. After some small talk, I cut straight to the point. 2,000 tons of edible ice. How fast can you get it done? Boss Wu slapped his chest and guarantee. 2.5 days tops. 400 a ton, that's 800,000 total. I pulled out my phone and transferred him 100,000 as a deposit on the spot. Deliver it to the designated spot in 2.5 days and I'll pay the rest. Boss Wu was a straight shooter too. He asked me what kind of event needed this much ice. Hinted, get future business with flexible pricing. I just smiled. I'm shipping it to Africa for charity. Not long after, Liu Ruyan and her friend caught up, grilling me for info. When they found out I just dropped 800,000 on ice, their jaws practically hit the floor. Now they were dead certain Su Chen was the real deal. A genuine tycoon. They also heard from Boss Wu that all this ice was headed to Africa for charity. After securing the necessary supplies, I figured I'd treat myself a little. I scanned the entire menu and spotted a random dish priced at 17,000. According to the waiter, it was personally crafted by the head chef. What you got depended entirely on the chef's whim. Sounded interesting, so I decided to give it a shot. A little while later, a beauty with pink hair and a professional outfit walked over, carrying my random dish. When I realized the woman in front of me was the head chef, Helbane Duanya. In the apocalypse of my past life, Helbane had a miraculous culinary skill that could turn rot into gold. No one could resist that temptation. But those dishes were laced with mutated elements from demon beasts, lethal poison. Eat one, and you were dead. Seeing my shock, Duanya's face twitched. What? Scared a pretty girl like me would poison your food? I snapped out of it and started wolfing down the steak in big bites. In the apocalypse, no way in hell I'd eat anything he cooked. After I was full, I decided to hit up Century Bar next. Rumor had it that place was the secret vault of Shangdu. A lot of rich brats had blown their cash there and never even caught a glimpse of the legendary storm. At least I could experience it one last time before the apocalypse. No regrets. As I chatted, I found out the girl next to me was drowning her sorrows because some scumbag had broken her heart. Chapter Drowning Sorrows. I hadn't even taken more than a few sips when the girl scooted closer. Her face flushed red. Hey handsome, you single? Before I could respond, Liu Ruyan and her crew had already tracked me down. I spotted them the second they entered. They roared and charged at me. I grabbed the girl and bolted down the second-floor stairs, ducking into a king-sized bedroom. I slammed the door shut and locked it behind us. The girl's movements were awkward, hesitant. She blushed. I don't have any experience. I flicked her forehead. Bonk. You drunk? Wake up. I warned her to stay inside for the next few days and stock up on supplies. Then I turned her down. Look, part of me regretted it, but with those two lunatics outside, tonight wasn't happening. 2.5 days later, all my ordered supplies had arrived at the designated warehouse. Liu Ruyan, Li Na, and Kai Kun showed up, drawn by the commotion. When they saw Green City, hotel's massive setup, 1,000 tables of banquet food, red carpets rolled out, the whole ceremonial shebang, Liu Ruyan's eyes glazed over. She started daydreaming again. He's preparing all this for me. He's definitely going to propose. She walked up to me. Su Chen, what's all this for? I shot her a cold glance. Help me move the stuff inside. Then I'll tell you. Her face went black instantly. Are you kidding me? I'm going to be a rich wife. There's no way I'm doing manual labor. Li Na whispered beside her. This must be a test. He wants to see if you're worthy of being a rich wife. Liu Ruyan's eyes lit up. She gritted her teeth and grabbed a crate. I'm not some deli, Kate flower. If I can pass this test, Su Chen will marry me today for sure. Li Na, seeing this, jumped in to help too. Her face flushed, putting on a seductive act. She was already planning her own angle. Maybe she could snag a spot as a concubine. Even scraps would do. Free labor? I wasn't about to complain. Even with hotel staff and delivery guys helping, there was a lot of supplies. We worked from dawn till dusk. By the time everything was finally stacked in the warehouse, Liu Ruyan was dead on her feet. She hadn't eaten a single bite the whole day. Pure obsession kept her going. Once I'm a rich wife, I'll take every last cent he has. Lina was pale as a ghost. Cole lapsed on her knees, gasping for air. That bastard, making us carry stuff this heavy. That ice block alone was over 100 pounds. Liu Ruyan straightened up, anticipation gleaming in her exhausted eyes. The test is over. Su Chen should announce. I walked over to the workers and handed each of them a red envelope. 0 yuan. Good work, everyone. A little token of appreciation. Keep it. Then I turned, my gaze cold. As for the remaining funds, I'll settle them